Hello folks, and welcome to the new channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Laurie, and I'm normally seen on another channel called Three Tones and the Truth, which is all about the three tones of the Nokta Makro Simplex and the truth for somebody that's brand new to metal detecting. My husband has an Equinox 800, I have the Simplex, and we've been learning detecting since January, though there's been a big gap in the middle with the lockdown due to the coronavirus. Anyway, last night, a friend of mine got in touch, and this friend is a very experienced metal detectorist, but they've just bought a Simplex, and he took it to the beach, and he turned it on, and he did what the guy who sold it to him told him to do, and unfortunately it went berserk, because it will. And I realised that there is actually a need for people to do videos showing what to do with the Simplex and how to make it work to the best of its ability. It's a fantastic machine. It absolutely is. But it's a hot rod, and sometimes hot rods need to be tuned. This was the analogy that I gave to my friend Dean, who's at Scottish Relics Metal Detecting. Go and check them out. It tries to give you too much information, and different settings are needed for different locations. It is sold as a beginner's machine, and it can be used as a beginner's machine with guidance. Otherwise you can get very frustrated and fed up, especially with the new update and the added depth. So what I want to do is I want to go through and I want to show you from the beginning what you want to do with this thing to make it work in different situations, and explain to you why and how to get the best out of your Nokta Makro Simplex. It's a wonderful, wonderful machine. It's at a very low price point, and what you get for it is phenomenal. Other machines are as good or better, but they cost a lot more money. The Nox 800 goes to the beach, it's quiet as a mouse until it hits a signal. You're going to pay a lot of money for a Nox compared to a Simplex. A Simplex will find the signals too, but you have to do a bit more work. It doesn't do the tuning for you. The Nox does. That's kind of the difference. So I thought, well, Dean is a very experienced detectorist, and he didn't know how to make the machine be quiet, and came to me. There'll be a lot of people that have bought these machines recently. They've sold tons and tons and tons of them. The new update is fantastic, but they probably need a bit of help. And the only reason I know these things is because I've spent hour upon hour upon hour upon hour figuring this thing out. I have watched every video I can find from across the world, and I've just spent time with it. So that's enough jabbering for me. Let's get on to it, and I'll show you what happens when you turn it on. Okay, so I'm here in a wee play park just by my house. You can see it's had quite a bit of the equipment taken out of it because it was substandard and they're redoing it. So I have permission to come in here and detect and get all the bump out of the bark that you see. So here we have the Simplex. You can see she's absolutely covered in mud. She is not a polished and beloved, tender, cared for Maserati, but she is an absolute thoroughbred nonetheless. She's tough, but you do have to learn how to get the best out of her in each situation. So hopefully I can help with that. Right, so here, press the middle button and get her turned on. Oh, there we go. Now, you'll see I'm in Park 1, and I'm on the 7 bars, and she's already starting to chatter just from sitting there. That's because the sensitivity in level 7, which is these full bars here, even with no soil mineralization, which is the thing on the left, the little battery symbol on the left, it still chatters because it's picking up information, and it's extraneous information. It's stuff you don't need, but she doesn't know that. So what we're going to do is we are going to find a clear bit of ground, and we're going to ground balance, but we're also going to turn the sensitivity down because we don't need level 7. We are in a field or a location where the soil has a lot of signals in it. So we really do not want level 7 because it will tell us everything, and it will tell us too much, and we won't know how to interpret it. All we'll hear is chatter. So let's get her sorted out. So if I pick her up, you can just hear her. She's just picking up everything because this is too high. So go to the center, press the button, and take our sensitivity down 1 bar. You can see that there, it's now down 1 bar. And she's a lot quieter already. Now we need to ground balance, so we have to find a piece of land, a piece of soil here. Let's see, onto this camera where there's no signals. Yeah, okay. So then we hit this until we 2 times till we go to the ground balance, and we press the left button, which will be kind of stiff, and we go up and down. And we want that to beep 3 times, and that gives us our ground balance. And if you're on the latest update, you can hit this middle button, and that takes you back to the main screen. So now we're ground balanced for this. We are in Park 1, which is a deeper mode. We probably don't need Park 1 in this park because we don't need the depth. We know that it's bark, we know that it's a play park. It's not going to have things very, very, very deep. It's all going to be fairly shallow. So actually Park 2 will do us very well, and that will help because it will give us more separation between the signals. It will understand when things are next to each other, and it will tell you it better. So we're going to press this button and move it over to Park 2. Now you'll notice it's gone back up to 7 because that's where I had it the last time I used Park 2. So again, that button there, bring it down, there we are. You do not have to reground balance, that stays. That stays across the different modes across here. So, much quieter. Now I have already detected this bit, so there shouldn't be anything in here, certainly at a high level. And we'll walk until we find something. And again, because, right, that's iron. It's a number 4, it's iron, and you can see it right there. It's right on the top of the ground. And that's what she's telling you. There's iron there. So we pick that up and get rid of it. Okay. And then we're back. And that's it. Signal. Again, there was iron somewhere. And I apologize if the wind noise is too bad. So, this I have all done. So, but right there, that sound, that's iron. There was a little squeak next to it, and that could throw somebody off and think, ooh, I should dig that. No, she's telling you, you caught it on the edge of it, and it gave a little squeak because it thought it might have been something different. But when you go straight on top of it, she says, no, that's iron. Don't dig it. And I will be showing you in other videos how to judge when something is big iron and how to judge when something is actually a signal. That one is jumping between 4, which is iron, and a 10, but that's the edge of the signal. You can hear it. It's not a solid, constant signal. That is definitely something you don't want to dig up. That, on the other hand, is something you definitely want to dig up. It's a bit jumpy. It's going between 27 and 54. So what we would do is we would turn ourselves and go this way. That's still very jumpy. Go this way at it. That's much more stable. And we want to go this way. Now, one thing you can do with this machine is you could actually go back to Park 1, which will give you more information. Slightly different tones, but more information. So that's this signal in Park 2. It is getting the occasional iron grunt. Now, what I would also do is I would take it over to Field, which you'll notice is on 7. Way too much information. She's going to go berserk, So we again need to bring that down to there. And this is your deepest mode. So this one gives you the most information, but if two things are next to each other, it may not be able to tell them apart. That's what your other faster modes are for. That's what part 1 and part 2 are for. So it depends on whether you have a quiet field that you want depth in, or you have a busy field that things aren't going to be so deep, but you need to separate them out from what's next to each other. So what we'll do is I'll turn you off, I'll dig this up, and we'll have a see what it is. Something else I want to demonstrate to you quickly is the pinpointer. I'm going to make sure that I can actually, you can see that screen. So I might need to swing around on this signal slightly in a different place. There she is there. Okay. So to pinpoint, we're going to press this button here. This one just there. So we're going to pinpoint. You hear it make a noise. And you can see that those circles changing. They're going up and down depending on how close you are to it. And so is the tone. That is the sort of noise we want to hear. And you may not get it down to a 1 dot. If it's a 1 dot, it's generally on the surface. The more dots it is, the more circles it is, the deeper it is. Another way that you can pinpoint is you can get the signal, and when it drops off, it's generally right in front of the coil, right at that little V. Just there, which is exactly what the pinpointer told us. There's a few different ways to do it. You'll find your own. I tend to go across till I get the highest tone, and then back and forward till I get the highest tone. That's going to be right there. Now, I'm going to show you something else that happens. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, I'm just going to mark the spot, because I'm not using my headphones today so you can hear the tones, but I have my Nokta Makro pinpointer, which I love, the pulse dive. Fantastic machine. When you have the headphones, the information comes through the headphones, it's wonderful. But there is a problem. There is a problem with the Simplex. It's not, I don't know if it's a problem. She is sensitive and she doesn't play well with others. So even though this is made by the same company that makes the Simplex, Nokta Makro, when I turn this on, she don't like it. She starts making all kinds of noise. The way to get rid of that, thankfully, from the last update, we are so fortunate, if you don't have the headphones, the automatic, the wireless headphones, where you won't hear it, all you have to do is press that, and she goes quiet, and it doesn't drive you mad. So there you go. And then you just press any button, and she comes back. Okay, so we found our spot. There it is. We're not hearing anything with the pinpointer. Put that over there. Normally I don't hear any of this because I just use my my headphones, and the headphones are set up with a pinpointer, the pulse dive, so that when you turn them on, it automatically mutes the machine. It does it for you. So I think it's fantastic, and also the ability to hear in the headphones is so much better when you're in a windy situation or a noisy situation. So I would always recommend that you get the wireless headphones with the Simplex. But if you hadn't, there's workarounds with that, and we can do another video on that later. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop you here, dig this up, and then I'll show you what it is. Okay folks, so that's what we've got. We've got a modern 20p, which doesn't surprise me because pretty much everything I found in this WePlay park has been pound coins of the old style, 20p's, 2p's, 5p's, 10p's, all of that, just modern coinage, nothing else, because it's not that old. But that is what that signal was, and even though it was jumpy, it's because it was a goodly ways down. You can't see that, but it was probably about 6 inches down, and it may have been on its side. It's corroded, it's in this bark, but you heard the signal. It was clear as a bell. She said there's something down there. There was no grunt of iron. It was worth checking out. If you had it tuned up and you had your full sensitivity on, you would have heard so many signals you wouldn't have known what to dig. You need to make the tunings for the machine fit the location. And in this location, I need to quieten her down, but she will still tell me when there are things there that I want to find. So, and in this location, that's about the best you're going to get. Pound coin might be better, but then you have to take those to the bank. That's spendable as it is. So I'm going to take you over by the fence, and I want to demonstrate to you the sensitivity and how it changes things. And then I think that's enough for one video. That's quite a lot. Remember, always backfill your holes. I will put my glove back on and I will fill that hole up and stomp them over and make sure it looks nice and pretty so nobody can tell that you've been there. Even though you have permission, you definitely want to leave it nice so you don't lose your permission. Right, okay folks, this is the last thing I want to show you today. I now have her in field mode and I have her on full 7 bars of sensitivity. I'm just at this little gate thing that's here next to the swing set. You can see that. But what I want to demonstrate to you, hear how chatty she is. She's given you all the information because she's picking that thing up way back here. And you don't know what that is because you're so far away from it. And if there's other signals around, you're going to be lost. But if you turn down the sensitivity a bar, you're only going to catch it a bit, not as much as she was. And you can see how far away we are from that wee gate. Now, if we go over to Park 1, and we're on full sensitivity, she's picking it up again, way back here. You'll hear a different tone, but if you've got a fence along the edge of your field, you won't be able to get anywhere near it because the machine's just going to keep sounding off from that fence. If you turn down your sensitivity, you pick it up, but you get a bit closer. But again, we're still in Park 1. We go over to Park 2, which is the least sensitive mode, but 7 bars. She's picking it up. Now, I have my arm fully extended, so I am closer before she's picking it up. Still picking it up. I put that down. I can get closer. Sometimes you might even need to go down another one so that you can get near to the gates. But back here, where field was going bananas, absolutely nothing except your signals, which is what you want to hear. Back here, you're not getting that gate, which is where it was just squawking all over the place when you were in the field mode. If you have a very quiet field, you have a place with very low occupation, you've hunted a field out so all the iron is gone, then by all means put it in field, whack it up to 7. Try it out. Try it out in different locations and see how you get on. I've had a very quiet field recently. I've been able to put it up to 7. I also have another bit that I've worked on next to a Victorian wall where I have sat and picked out all the iron. So I put it up to 7 because I want to hear everything that's going on underneath there. And I put it in field because I have taken out all the rubbish signals. I want to hear what else there is. But you may get told on a beach, and I'll talk to you about this when we do the beach video, you know, ground balance in beach and switch over to another mode. Absolutely. But think about your beach. Think about how much stuff is in the ground. Think about whether there's coke. Think about whether there's hot rocks. And this goes for your fields as well. Is there coke in your fields? Is there hot rocks in your field? How much population is there in your field? How much trash? This field here that's just next to this wee park is absolutely full of can slaw. It makes the machine go nuts. I have to put it into Park 2, which is its least deep mode, and lower the sensitivity, because otherwise all I'm hearing is every piece of can slaw within a 5-meter radius. Not 5 meters, sorry, 5 feet radius. 5 meters would be something else. 5 feet radius. It's just too sensitive for the location. So this should give you an idea on how to get your Simplex set up, how to turn it on, how to ground balance it, how to pinpoint, how to mute it, and how to understand your signals a little bit. There's quite a lot of information in this video, And I will also break these up into smaller ones, so you have a choice of watching the whole thing, or you can come along and you can watch the shorter ones depending on what it is you need to know. But again, match your settings, tune your hot rod to work how you want it to work. She's going to give you all the information she can hear and she can see. We can't cope with that because it's too much for us to process. So we have to tune her down till it's giving us what we want to hear. You're not going to miss the signals by turning the sensitivity down, but it will depend on your location. You certainly do not want it all the way up in a play park where there is lots of metal equipment and fences and rubbish in the ground. You may want it up on a very, very quiet wood where you want to hear something really deep in the ground. Try it out. Have a see. She will chatter. If you bump something, she will chatter. She's very sensitive. But you can minimize the chatter by tuning her correctly. Hope this is helpful. Please let me know. Any questions you've got, put them in the comments. I will answer anything you want to see a video on. Let me know. Put them in the comments. I will do my best. We're still in semi-lockdown at the moment, so I can't get to a beach to do that video, but I will as soon as I can. I will do one out on the wee park out there to show you what the counslaw sounds like and how awful it is. And we'll talk about how to distinguish those signals and what you do. And other than that, stay safe, wash your hands. Thanks for watching. Bye.